What is erythrophobia and how did I overcome it? If you struggle with blushing, flushing, and the insecurities around turning red, then this video is going to be for you. I'm going to talk a little bit about what erythrophobia is and how I think I was able to break through that erythrophobia phobia and move on with my life, so stick around. Hey everybody, my name is April. Welcome to Blushing Phoenix. If this is your first time here, welcome. And if you are revisiting us and been hanging around for a while, thank you so much for your support and I appreciate you tuning in when I post videos. So let's jump right into it. So I wanted to talk today about what is erythrophobia and how did I overcome it. So erythrophobia is very simply the fear of turning red. For people who have chronic blushing and flushing, and even for rosacea as well, we tend to get into this cycle sometimes about, there's a bird outside the window. Okay, I digress. Okay, sorry about that. It's like beautiful here. It's like 77 degrees here in right outside of Nashville, and there was a bird outside the window and it startled me a little bit. So anyway, back to what I was saying. What is erythrophobia? How did I overcome it? Erythrophobia is the fear of turning red. It is feeling shame, this fear around what are people going to think, how does this make me feel? And it is just this shame cycle of feeling like you're going to be judged by others because you are turning red, and then they're going to make an assumption about why you're turning red, or they're going to think you're nervous, or they're going to think that you cannot handle your emotions, or whatever all the thoughts may be. We take those thoughts on, we fear that people are going to think these negative things about us, and therefore continue that fear cycle, which creates the fear cycle in a loop. So we are constantly turning red, and then even when we're not turning red, we're afraid we're going to turn red, which throws us into a fight or flight response in our bodies, and therefore we turn red because we made ourselves turn red. It is a vicious cycle, and for those of you who deal with it, it's exhausting. I get it. I was stuck in it for many years, and I no longer am, which takes me to point number 2. How did I overcome it? So hear me very clearly when I say, I'm gonna have to shut that window. So hear me very clearly when I say I do still flush. Not nearly as much. I mean, honestly, it's very rare that it happens, but I still do turn red. I actually was out with my husband and a couple of friends the other day. I love them. I've known them for many years, like 13 years or so, and just being out, having a good time, laughing, having some drinks. And I went to the bathroom later that afternoon and realized that I actually had some like red splotches up my neck, and I honestly just didn't care. I was with really super safe people. I know that I am not like panicking in that environment, and that's just what my body does. So to get to the point of how I think I really overcame this, and this is just in a nutshell. Obviously I have a bunch of videos. I'll have more videos with more in-depth details in the future, but what I think really helped me to overcome was that I believed that I could. Now stick with me, because I know that you can be listening to this and be like, oh, is she freaking kidding me? Like, she knew she could. Listen, I engage with so many people because of Blushing Phoenix. I get messages all the time from all across the world, and the people who tend to be able to move on with their lives and be able to do more with their lives and be able to actually fight through erythrophobia and break through that fear cycle are the ones who believe they can, the ones who believe it is possible. So much is going to start in the mind. It's going to start with our attitude around it. When I first started out with Blushing Phoenix, I was so distraught. I was defeated. I felt a little hopeless. It's why I actually started the channel. It was one of like just like last resort of like, nobody knows, nobody understands me, nobody gets it. I'm so alone in this, and I have to talk out loud somewhere, and I'm gonna put it on the internet, because if it just helps one other person, then I just don't want anybody else to feel the way I did every time I search the internet and come up empty and feel more alone. And so for me, it was very much just feeling like there was hope and that there was an answer for me. And this is an ongoing journey. I think that there's so much of it that truly has to do with just the nervous system. And you know, that fight or flight response is coming from the sympathetic nervous system. You have your parasympathetic nervous system, which is your rest and digest, and you have your sympathetic nervous system, which is your fight, flight, fawn, freeze. And I've talked about that before on other videos. Feel free to check those out. And for a lot of us who have that flushing and blushing experience and struggle with erythrophobia, it is a fight or flight response. And so in order to calm all that down, there's a lot of techniques, there's a lot of different tools, there's herbs and remedies and chiropractic, neurological help you can get, any sort of therapy, psychotherapies, cognitive behavioral therapy. There's just so many different avenues that we can explore. And I think that a huge thing that Dr. Julie, if you know Dr. Julie, she is fantastic. There's a video that I have with her. I'll link that in the description box below. And a big thing that she really talked to me about was just reframing. And that is something that's been huge on my journey, is being able to reframe. So even when you think about like all these different therapies, all these different options, I know that that can actually feel really defeating, that like, well, where do I start? There's so many options, and how do I know that one is going to actually lead me out of this? Well, you don't, but you have to start somewhere. And so if you just reframe that thought of like, there's so many options, this is so overwhelming, to look at all the options that I have. And I don't know about you, but over time that made me feel so hopeful that there just wasn't like this one solution, that I could actually explore all these different options and see actually what worked best for me. And you all, I am living my life now. I don't sit in fear worrying about turning red and flushing. There's clearly a lot happening here. I don't remember what I was talking about. And you guys wonder why I don't stay consistent in my video posting. But anyway, all that to say, I believe there was hope. I believe there were options. I believed that I could. I resolved early on that even if I cannot make this stop, I will not let it stop me. I have way too much to offer this world. I have way too much life to live. I have way too much to give to my family and my friends and the people around me. And I wasn't gonna let it stop me. And I made that choice. And I've had people reach out to me and say, you are so strong and you are just like so brave. And I get that. I get why you would say that, but you possess the same power that I do. And it's taken me years. It's taken me years. So don't get into a place of comparison. I don't make these videos for comparison. I make these videos to tell you this is where I've been, this is where I am, this is where I'm going, but also just to tell you that you're not alone, that you're so much more than redness, that if there's hope for me, there's hope for you. And the more we realize like this is not who we are, that we're so much more than this, that we have so much more with our gifts and talents and the things that we want to bring to the relationships around us. Yes! No, I'm doing something. What? You, me, all of us have so much more to give. And when I say give, that doesn't mean we have to be doing big, brave, bold things. It just means that like, just going out to dinner, going on that date, being able to talk to a friend about it, being able to tell a family member about it, or not talking about it at all, because that is your right to not talk about it and just move on with your life. Whatever works for you. But there is hope. There are options. There are so many different options for things that can help you just kind of take this deeper dive into exploration around why is this happening. So here's another thing. I spent a lot of time trying to figure out like why this is happening and how do I make it stop. And then I kind of just like hit this wall where I'm like, I'm just kind of done trying to figure out like why it's happening, because there's so many reasons why it could be happening. And I have some ideas of why this happens for me. But the more I just kind of like dig into why I am the way I am and what my traumas are, it's just leaving me just stuck in the past. And I don't know about you, but I don't want to live in the past. I want to understand where I came from and just get where I'm going. So I want to be present where I am today. I want to feel good about who I am today. I want to feel very strong and just courageous in who I am today. And I want to go wherever it is that I'm going. I don't want to be stuck back there. I want to go that way or that way, whichever way is forward. And I cannot do that if I am stuck in the past or if I'm stuck in this insecure cycle of what I think the world thinks about me. So that's a quick recap about what is erythrophobia, what does it mean, and how I personally was able to break through erythrophobia and move on and live my life. And I feel very confident in saying, if I can do that, you can too. Thank you guys for hanging out here. As always, I really appreciate your support of the channel and just spreading the word that this is like a real thing that people deal with and are trying to understand more about and are trying to work through themselves so that they can live their most fulfilled life, whatever that means for them. So thank you all for hanging around here. Be sure to subscribe, comment, like, all the things that help support the channel. And be sure to check out the new videos that I'm starting to put up, which are, I did one the other day, I tested it. It was like an actual like music thing, and it was a little choppy, so thank you guys for checking in on that one. But then there's another one that's just a black screen and it has like water noises, and those are the ones I'm really going to focus on. It's all about like bringing down, calming down that sympathetic nervous system. And I want to provide some tools here like that are just like black screen, and there's just some sort of calming sound effects that come along with it. Oh yeah, you do have to pick up. Goodbye.
Bye, people.
Can you lock that? Can you lock it? Because Sway's gonna come busting in here. All right, thank you. I'm keeping it in here because this is my real life. But anyway, some sort of like some sort of calming sound effects that really, like when you're just having a day or you just need a moment, you can tune in here at Blushing Phoenix and just turn one of those videos on and just let it play while you just close your eyes for a minute, while you meditate, while you pray, while you journal, while you just lay and stare at the ceiling, or whatever works for you. Listen to it in the car, and hopefully that will help you to calm down your nervous system. And it also helps the channel because it will add more view time to this channel, and with that it will continue to support and reinforce the things that we're doing here. So it is just like a full cycle of good things. So be sure to check out those videos when you see the like calm your nervous system titles come across. My plan so far has been to just do like maybe one of these videos once a week and one of those calming your nervous system, music, water, whatever it may be, things for you once a week as well. And I'll do that for a while and just see what happens. But as always, thank you guys for sticking around here. Thank you for hanging out through all my multiple interruptions. And remember, there is hope for you. You are so much more than redness. You have so much more life to live beyond what happens to your skin, and you're not alone. And so with that, I'll see you in my next video.